Greetings, everyone. I'm Chris the Rebel. I thank you for tuning in to another video. On this particular video, we'll be discussing submission. Now, I know that this is a very triggering topic, also a very interesting topic. I'm only here to discuss the origins of submission and what it truly means, in the hopes that it gives you some kind of knowledge and guidance on what it truly means. Now, when they speak of submission, you have to think of it means cooperation. It means agreement. Now, what are you agreeing to? Because there are many women that you'll see on TikTok videos, shorts, things on YouTube. They say, what am I submitting to? Well, you're submitting to a man's philosophy, submitting to a man's program, you're submitting to a man's mindset. And why is this important? Because we know that men are the head. Always have been, always will be, regardless to how the fight to change that goes. We know that ultimately women want to submit under something. They want the guidance, the leadership, the protection, the provision of a man. In order to get that, then you have to submit to that man, because there's not a man that I know of alive that's going to be willing to give his resources up for a woman that's not going to be in agreement with whatever he thinks. Now, how do you understand this particular concept? Where does it come from? Well, first and foremost, you have to think about before this earth was even formed. When the Most High's spirit came over this earth and he created the first human being, which was a man. Then he created the garden. The Most High allowed Adam to name every animal, every plant, everything on the face of this earth. And he told him that there was one tree that he was not to eat of, but every other tree was good to eat of. So when Eve came along, who was it that told her about the tree? Who was it that told her about these different plants and these different fruits and these different vegetables that they can eat of? It was Adam. It was Adam's job to do this. That's why men inherently have leadership in their DNA, in their bones. Now, I'm not saying every man has this particular quality yet, but he can gain it because it's inherently in us to be problem solvers. It's inherently in us to be providers, to be protectors. Inherently, that's what every man wants to do. And we know that every woman wants to be provided, protected, loved, all these different things. Now, we have different mindsets and different ways of how we view what love is and this, that, and the third. When you think about submission, that's what you have to think about. What the man's mindset is. And can you get in agreement with that? Because if you can't, then ultimately your relationship is going to be in turmoil. Ultimately, you may end up wasting a lot of time as a woman. Because as men, we ultimately don't want to hurt your feelings. We ultimately don't want to make you sad. And the reason why we don't want to do that is because, for one, who likes the sad woman walking around the house that don't want to do none of the things that we enjoy for our women to do for us? No man wants to experience that. So we ultimately may keep our mouths closed. Now, I know you're saying, ladies, like the man should be able to say how he feels, leave it at that, but we ultimately don't want to do that. We want peace. As a man, your job is to conquer that woman's energy. Now, some women got strong energy, some women got light energy, some women got medium energy, but ultimately our job is to conquer her energy. Men are conquerors, men are hunters. So think about that, men, when you begin to talk about submission. Your submission can't be misogynistic. Your submission can't be oppressive. Your submission can't be dominating. Now, of course, we know that women like to be dominated some type of way, but there's lines here, because a woman is naturally emotional and you don't want the woman to feel like you're overpowering her. You don't want her to believe that what you're doing to her is being oppressive, because then she'll walk around unhappy. My grandfather once told me, while you're sleeping, your woman is up, thinking about what it is that you did to her if you're doing bad things to her. So I really don't encourage, for you to try to trick her or try to do, things that'll be precarious. Your relationship. But what I am going to encourage you to do is have a good culture, have a good philosophy, have a good mindset. And I can assure you that if you push this particular culture on her, if she believes in it, she has no problem submitting to it. We commonly see this. Many men question, they say, how can Pookie and Ray Ray get submission, but me, I'm hardworking. Me, I make a lot of money. Me, I do this. Me, I do that. But I can't get submission from no woman. Ultimately, it begins with the mind. See, money makes it much easier, but it doesn't cure the problem. That is something that these YouTube creators, these content creators, these different guys who are speaking in the same space that I'm speaking in, have to tell you, men, that yeah, money makes it easier, but it does not cure the problem, and it does not get submission completely. If anything, it gets fake submission for 10 years, and then you're in a divorce and give up half your stuff. So if you really want to get this particular concept right, then you have to work on your mind first and your thought process, and then you have to be able to exasperate that to the woman, and then allow her to fall under it. It goes for both parties. If you can't fall under his submission, then you need to ride out and find somebody whose submission you can fall under. And if she can't fall under your submission, then there's no point in arguing. There's no point in trying to do the DV to her to make her do it. It is best for you to allow her to go on to someone whose submission she can fall under. It's a very, very, very sensitive subject when speaking of this, because many women seen oppression in different forms. If it's theater, if it's in the movies, or if it's on the TV shows, or if it's just women telling their stories about how they were oppressed, many women look at this particular aspect and they say, oh, I'm not doing that. So you have to give a little grace and give a little mercy to women, because they are, trying to do this as well, by also trying not to be taken advantage of, because they have seen stories of being taken advantage of. Or if this woman is not a virgin and she has dated many times, then you know that there's some guy out there that has taken advantage of her. And I know a lot of content creators are going to be like, oh, Chris, you wrong because you simping and you saying we should do this and we should do that. You have to, because as a man you are many things, but one of those main things you are is a problem solver. So it's your job to solve the problem of that woman if you deem her valuable. Now I know, everybody's on this red pill stuff and, do what I said or get on and all that. Hey, I'm gonna tell you now, there's gonna be a lot of you guys that's gonna be lonely, because you are listening to people who are not giving you the full scoop. And now I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm not saying that I'm the best at this and that you should listen to me, and that whoever else said, whatever else they said, that they are unimportant and that you should come over here. That's not my aspect, because I believe in everybody's conversation. There's gems you can be taken from it. It's eat the meat, spit out the bones concept. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I'm completely right, but what I can tell you is that your submission that you're trying to get deals with your mind first, and it needs to make sense, because women are more mental. You know this, so you have to make sure that whatever you're speaking about, whatever you're asking about, whatever your mindset and culture is, has to be something that she can play in her mind and say, yeah, I think I can do that for baby, or I think I can do that for daddy, or I think I can do that for poppy. Whatever your name is, that's ultimately what you need to do. That's my take on submission. I know it's a touchy subject. If you view this video, hit the like button. And don't be shy. Drop them in the comments. Tell me what you think.